An autoclave is a critical piece of equipment that can be found in laboratories at Dalhousie University. An autoclave requires knowledge and training to safely use and properly maintain. Before we get into the training, let's briefly go over the autoclaving process and what it looks like. An autoclave is a piece of laboratory equipment that is used to sterilize and decontaminate labware, surgical tools, biological material, and waste. Sterilization and decontamination is achieved by using highly pressurized steam to eliminate biological contamination from the items loaded into the chamber of the autoclave. A temperature of 121 degrees Celsius and a chamber pressure of 15 psi must be reached and maintained for a period of time to safely sterilize and decontaminate items within the autoclave chamber. Autoclave cycles must run for a minimum of 15 minutes, but the actual time required to sterilize and decontaminate a load must be confirmed for each specific run using a chemical integrator strip. Users must follow safety guidelines and complete the necessary paperwork to ensure that the autoclave remains functional. Mechanical issues must be reported to your supervisor and fixed in a timely manner by an authorized technician. Failure to follow the safety and procedure guidelines can result in bodily harm such as burns from hot liquids or steam, damage to the autoclave, destruction of laboratory equipment, failure to decontaminate or sterilize the load inside the autoclave chamber. Before using an autoclave, it is best to familiarize yourself with the unit you will be working with. There are many different models of autoclave machines, so take the time to learn the details of your particular model. Let's break down the stages of the autoclave cycle into more detail. An autoclave cycle consists of 3 stages: charge, sterilize, and exhaust. After the autoclave door is sealed, steam enters through the steam inlet valve and pushes air from the chamber out through the drain. As this occurs, you will see the chamber pressure increase. The temperature will increase to 121 degrees Celsius or 250 degrees Fahrenheit. This is called the charge stage. Once the autoclave reaches temperature and pressure, it will begin the sterilization stage. The autoclave will remain in this stage for a predetermined amount of time to sterilize the load. Once the sterilization stage is complete, the exhaust stage will begin. The steam will exit the chamber through the drain. The exhaust stage can be either fast or slow depending on your cycle choice. Gravity cycles will use a fast exhaust method, and liquid cycles will use a slow exhaust method. The slow exhaust is to prevent boil-over. Once all of the steam has been exhausted, the chamber pressure gauge will read 0 psi. It is now safe to open the autoclave door. Now that you're familiar with how an autoclave works, let's go into detail about how to properly operate and document the usage of your autoclave. For details about the specific usage of your department's autoclave, contact your supervisor for direction. The first step is to gather the proper safety equipment and clothing you will need during this process. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, includes a lab coat with long sleeves, a rubber apron, insulated gloves covering arms and forearms, a face shield for eye protection, closed-toed shoes that cover the entire top and sides of the foot, no ballet flats, and long pants. Next, we must verify a few things about the autoclave before use. 1. The autoclave chamber is clear of debris. 2. The drain is clear of debris. 3. The door gasket is undamaged. Now that you've verified that the autoclave is safe to use, you must prepare your materials. Remember, it is your responsibility to ensure that all items loaded inside the autoclave are autoclave safe. Various plastics, borosilicate glass such as Pyrex glass, and stainless steel are examples of autoclave safe materials. The following are examples of items that cannot be placed in an autoclave: material that may emit toxic fumes, solvents, volatile chlorinated compounds such as bleach, corrosive chemicals such as phenol and trizol, material contaminated with chemotherapeutic agents, radioactive material, and cracked glassware. While glassware is safe to autoclave, it must be inspected for cracks prior to autoclaving. Failure to do so could result in glassware shattering during the sterilizing process. Now that you've determined your items are autoclave safe, you must prepare and package the materials correctly so that they are properly sterilized and do not damage the autoclave during operation. First, you must acquire an autoclave safe bin. The bin must be large enough to contain all contents in the event of a boil-over, spill, or leak. You must also acquire a method to verify that the autoclave sterilized its contents. To do this, you will need autoclave tape or chemical indicators, chemical integrator strips, and biological indicators. Although autoclave tape and other chemical indicators are easy to use, these tools only indicate that your items have reached 121 degrees Celsius at some point during the run. They do not necessarily indicate that your load has been sterilized. Chemical integrator strips and biological indicators, such as spore tests, both verify that the contents of the autoclave have been successfully sterilized or decontaminated by reaching 121 degrees Celsius for a given period of time. Now let's look at how to package some of the common items that you would run through a gravity cycle. Dry materials, such as tips, can be placed directly into the autoclave bin. Surgical tools need to be wrapped in a steam-penetrable paper before being placed in the autoclave bin. For glassware, either cover with aluminum foil or ensure bottle tops are loosely capped. This is to help avoid breakage of the glass. Now let's look at how to package items that you would run through a liquid cycle. Liquid solutions must not be more than 2/3 full. Make sure to cover the solution with aluminum foil or have the tops loosely capped. The liquid solution must be placed into an autoclave bin that contains water. This water basin will help ensure a controlled decrease in temperature for your liquid solution upon removal from the autoclave. To package biohazardous waste for decontamination, you must follow these steps. 1. Acquire Dalhousie EHS pre-approved biohazard waste bags and biohazard waste tags. Talk to your supervisor to find out how to acquire these bags and tags. 2. Do not pack your bags more than 2/3 full, otherwise steam will not be able to properly reach all contents of your load. 3. Ensure that your bag of waste fits entirely within the autoclave bin. 4. Place a chemical integrator strip in the middle of your bag's contents. This will allow you to determine if steam was able to penetrate to the center of the bag contents. 5. Make sure to seal the biohazard waste bag very loosely. Steam must be able to get inside the bag. 6. Fill out and attach the biohazard waste tag to the bag. Place a piece of autoclave tape on the back of the biohazard waste tag. 7. All biohazard waste must be sterilized for a minimum of 60 minutes. After you have completed the necessary steps to properly package your materials for autoclaving, you may load them into the autoclave. Allow sufficient room for steam circulation within the chamber. Once loaded, seal the door and start the appropriate cycle. Remember to fill out the logbook associated with your autoclave at the beginning of each run. Remain until the autoclave reaches the sterilization stage, at which point you are free to leave and return after your load has completed. After the autoclave has finished its run, follow these steps to safely retrieve your load. 1. Ensure that the run is finished. 2. Ensure that the pressure within the chamber is 0 psi before opening the door. 3. Slowly open the door to release residual steam and allow pressure within liquids and containers to normalize. Hot steam will exit the autoclave upon opening the door, so be careful. 4. After the door is open, leave the contents for 10 minutes to start cooling. Do not agitate containers of superheated liquids or remove caps before unloading. Superheated liquids can explode if they are shaken or moved too quickly during the cooling process. After 10 minutes, you may now remove your items from the autoclave. Do not leave items in the autoclave overnight. Be sure to verify that temperature-sensitive autoclave tape has changed color. For waste, ensure that the integrator strip in the biohazard waste bag indicates that your load was decontaminated. Attach the integrator strip to the back of your biohazard tag. Record the results of your integrator or indicator in the logbook. This is a simple pass or fail result. Before walking away from the autoclave, look inside to make sure nothing has spilled or been left behind. When transporting autoclaved liquids and waste, make sure to keep the items within an autoclave bin and use a cart to transport the contents and the autoclave bin. Now you may close the door to the autoclave chamber. After autoclaving biohazardous waste, the bag must be transferred to an autoclave waste bin located in a designated room within your building. Talk to your supervisor to ensure that you have access to this room. In the event of a spill, place an out of order sign on the autoclave. The autoclave is not to be used until the spill is completely cleaned. Allow the autoclave and items to cool completely and contain the spill with absorbent material. Proceed with the appropriate spill cleanup policies depending on the contents of the spill. In the unfortunate event of injury, immediately seek first aid, or, if necessary, seek medical assistance by following the emergency responses procedure for your location. All accidents must be reported to your supervisor and departmental office. An accident report must be submitted to the Biological Safety Manager at the EHS office. And that's it. You now have all the information that you'll need to safely load, unload, and operate an autoclave in your lab. If you have any questions or wish to learn more, please contact your supervisor for direction.